if you go on the way you started.
Hola, ¿cómo está? No, excuse me. Anyway, hello everyone. My name is, uh, this is Darachat. You know what? I almost blinked there for a second. It's been a day. Anyway, welcome everyone to another Darachat. My name is Daramouthe, or Dara for short, because some people still can't say my first part right. They say Daramouthe, like they got an issue. But it's actually Daramouthe. So for all you kids in the back crying about not knowing how to say it, I just said it. Word. But anyway, welcome everyone to another Dare Chat. I am of course joined by the Emperor himself, which should be an interesting time. I've never had an Emperor before. So how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm pretty good. I was happy to see that the outgoing president decided to just unilaterally amend the Constitution. So I did the same. I am now the Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico. I feel very positive about this, and I hope that I make everything better for everyone.
I'm sure you will after being so positive. But hold on, you said you're pretty good. Are you pretty good? Because you can't be
Yes.
close.
Oh, honey, I can.
Oh dear Lord, here we go again. Oh my gosh! But anyway, anyway, thank you for joining me, good sir. Of course, the Emperor himself is part of the B-roll crew, and hello there, Adam Gray. How are you? So they've stopped by for today. But yes, I know I've seen you on some of the movies that they've commentated on when they do their thing on Friday. How long have you been coming to their shindig?
I was on the first one. It was Adam and I we had met in chat and we were talking, and he kept talking about setting up this show, and I kept prodding him, and finally I won a bet with Movie Cynic, and the in order the winning part was to be on their show B-Sub, and there were a couple thousand people watching. So I was like, Adam, get your show running, because I'm going to cash in on this bet, and if I can then get everybody to kind of go to B-Sides afterwards, we'll we can cash in. So I think that was kind of the impetus that got him going, and I've been there ever since.
Nice. Yeah, because I've only stopped by a few times, obviously, when I've ranted or whatever. But I know you guys watch old uh public, I guess, public domain movies or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Which I mean is sort of like one of those things where, because I was trying to look up like what is putting out into public domain or whatever, and sometimes it could take almost to 100 years.
Yeah, and even then, you're iffy, because the people will claim that they have rights, or
Mhm.
different countries may still have people that believe that they have rights. So
Mhm.
Adam has to, every week go through quite a process to try and and check. Even though they're very clearly in the public domain, you
Mhm.
better run them private first and see which annoying idiot decides that no, I own that, and then we fight.
Yeah, that's pretty much the big thing with the YouTube copyright system, right? Is that almost anyone can copyright claim, and then you have to go through that whole process of fighting, and yeah, it's a joke unto itself,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But it's where a majority of people want to go anyway, because money and reach is what I kept hearing from a lot of content creators. So, but it is. I mean, the only thing I get hit on is some of the song music videos that Pogo does, but I mean, they're just content ID things. I'm not monetized. I'm not even anywhere near that ballpark. Um, and territory restrictions are the worst. Yeah, I've seen that too. I once had there was a doing my pay it forward, and someone was watching music, anime music, openings or whatever on
hmm
Rumble. Went through that, and bam, they they hit me territory wise for that. So I had to, but luckily YouTube has tools where you could just take those small bits out. But if you're talking like a whole stream dedicated to a movie, good luck.
yeah. I mean, like, so in the chat, Film Comics Explained, brother Niat,
Mhm.
he's got 1 million plus subs, and we were doing coverage of different movies, and he would do these massive overlays, so you really had to like squint to be able to see it at all. And even then, he would get hit. We're playing no audio,
Mhm.
but they would claim it anyway, and so yeah, you either have to edit and chop out stuff, or just go nope. You can have the monetization and have a nice day.
Yeah, I think the worst one I got, and this is only like a rare occasion, was the WWF. I was
Oh yeah, they don't play.
No, they do not play. Once your stream is done, they will pow right on
Yep.
it.
Yeah, they'll
Uh,
get you for a single picture.
Yep. There was it was either a game, because they do have games out there, or it was actual WWF. I couldn't remember. But it was just during one of my pay it forward streams. I was strolling by someone on Rumble, and they were doing the WWF, and then all of a sudden, after the show was over, it's like my stream was blocked in all territories. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they are notoriously roguish.
Oh goodness. That's okay though. I'm not interested in WWF, so that's okay with me. Uh,
Yeah,
but I just it's you either have people complain, the system is too much, not doing a well enough job, and it's corrupt or whatever, and then they go to a system where it's not, and it's just like it's not as clear cut as YouTube's. It's a whole bunch of stuff, right? I mean, you're on these platforms like Twitch and YouTube, and whatever you consider big, and you play by their games in order to do all these things that is considered content creation. What Jethro got slapped for showing slides once. I forget which movie. Oh wow.
Yeah, we had that happen to a friend of ours, Stupenzo, as well. He was they were talking about the Matrix, and they were just going through slides, and Warner Brothers hit him for that.
Now I want to know if he got actually slapped or if he was just like, you know, wrist slapped, because I just want to know if YouTube caused actual violence.
I mean, that'd be all right. I mean, at least they'd have to get off their ass and show up to, you know, to slap you. That'd be instead of just letting bots do it. Consider yourself virtually slapped. I don't. Thanks. Move on.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh. Yeah, I get it, but at the end of the day, it's everyone will still keep coming back, because no matter what the system is, as long as it pays well, you'll keep seeing people right back to it, and that's why multi-stream. Right? Again, I'm not monetized to YouTube or anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I
the big
said
thing
that.
is you go where the audience is. You know, and for all of the other platforms, you know, their total audiences are like rounding errors compared to YouTube, and so you know you kind of have to go where the people are. Now, if you're niche enough or you know genre specific enough, you can probably you know pull up on other platforms. But you know, if you're looking for a more general audience, you know, pulling from a big pond, then YouTube kind of has to be where you're at.
Oh, YouTube's not a pond; it's an ocean.
Yeah.
It's an ocean, and that's not a joke either. I mean, I guess you could consider Twitch an ocean too, but it's on a smaller scale.
It's more like a sea.
Sea, ocean. I mean, at a certain point, you're just mixing up waters and calling it something else. There's still
the Pacific compared to the Mediterranean. There's a noticeable difference.
All right, we'll go with that. Wasn't he says it wasn't a red strike, but yeah, they wanted to monetize his work, which was fair use. Yeah, well, fair use is sort of like this child that doesn't know it's a child. It's actually an adult, but it's pretending to be a child, but you know it's an adult. It gets confusing after a while. I could keep going, but it's not gonna.
Well, I think the biggest problem with fair use, I mean, is the platforms, their implementation of their requirements, and generally, you know, like with YouTube, it's we want to automate as much as possible because there's just so much, you know, being uploaded constantly. But the legal issue with fair use is really around the DMCA in Section 320 or 230. So prior to some of the more interesting, excuse me.
Copyright stuff. We're talking about copyright stuff. What was that? Yeah, it's again, because it's such a big ocean, it's understandable why they would automate, because I mean, how many people can you have to the billions coming to the ocean? It's a good or bad situation depending on, but
yeah, you have like 5 petabytes per day, right?
And if people don't know what a petabyte is, it's a one with like 100 zeros after it, I think. I'm gonna just check just to be sure. It is equal to 1 quadrillion bytes or 1,000 terabytes. Or well, actually, no. I'm just gonna bring up just so we can have a visual. Just so we can, and it's with 1 T. I always thought it was 2 T's. There we go. So basically, it's 3, 6, 9, 10, 12. So it's 1 and 12 zeros after it. So that's what a petabyte is. So that's like,
yeah, it's trillion, right? Because you have, you know, mega is million, giga is billion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
tera is trillion, and then petabyte is multiple 1,000 terabytes. So it's
no, that's 100. Yeah, that's 100,000. That's million. That's billion, and that's trillion.
right.
Yes.
It's 1,000 trillion.
Yes, it's exactly that. But yeah, that's a lot of numbers there, and I mean, the amount of data is ludicrous, because not all, some of it's short, some of it's live streaming, and especially with live streams, right? And the data cap that takes for bandwidth and all this stuff. You got to be kidding me. It's insane.
Yeah, yeah, and so the you can't have you couldn't hire enough people to curate everything that was being uploaded or being live streamed.
Mhm.
But the thing about the DMCA is in the past what we had is a common carrier rule.
Right.
So this is the way the phone system worked,
Right.
where AT&T wasn't liable for what was said on the phone network
Mhm.
because it didn't listen in and curate.
Yeah.
When you begin curation, you open yourself up as a publisher, which means that you own the content and you're legally responsible for it.
Mhm.
The thing is that because of some questionable legal decisions and opinions, that common carrier rule got swizzled a bit. So what Google and YouTube kind of try to talk out of both sides of their mouth. They are a publisher when they can choose what is on the platform, but if you come at them, then suddenly they claim common carrier rules, right? They need to be one or the other. If you're going to curate, then you own it. The DMCA itself only requires that when notified by a copyright holder,
Yeah.
you have to then, give the ability to respond and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
The thing you can do, YouTube, at least initially, if somebody does a claim,
Mhm.
they don't tell the claimant the personal details about the person that they're in the claim against, because that would be an easy way to dox people.
Yeah.
But if you respond, you do have to dox yourself. Right, because now you're making a legal statement saying, "Nope, that's not mine," and yada yada. And here is my actual contact information. Because if you wanna step up and get jiggity in court, well, then you have to be able to contact me.
I just want someone once say that in course, like, sir, I had to give my information so I can get jiggy with it with the company. So
Yeah, I mean they provide theirs, but it can just be mailing address, whatever the hell, right?
right, yeah. As far as privacy as you can make it, but still they'll find a way. They always find a way. Those
Right.
monsters. But I mean, it rumbles on the basic enterprise of, if they get a DMCA, they have to respond to it, and all that stuff. So there isn't a way, sort of a way to fight against that per se, because once they get a DMCA, lo and behold. Um, but I mean,
What they don't do is provide the publishers automated systems
mm,
that then identify them or misidentify them, because the tools that Google provides publishers and the automated tools that publishers themselves use
mhm,
do not have to demonstrate accuracy.
mhm,
So if they're getting false positives,
mhm.
tough, right?
Yeah,
Then you need to go through the dispute mechanism. And it was like, yeah, but you're providing them all the tools. And oh, by the way, YouTube also gives special status to certain publishers of size
mm.
that you can't argue against it.
Yeah, which is what children is that called? Oh, that's right. It's called favoritism and
Mm.
bribery. Yes. People
Uh,
will yell upon for the favoritism from Rumble, but YouTube does it too. So, haha. Um, but regardless, I mean, most platforms do what's in their best interest to get well known, because lo and behold, they're a business. So, I mean,
yep.
yeah, you're not getting around that. But yeah, the copyright system for YouTube has always been a mess. It's always been, it's the funniest thing in the world is, in order to get YouTube's attention, you have to go to another platform in order to do that.
Yep.
You have to go through Twitter X. Um, but the funny thing is that you have to go to another platform to get that done. And Rumble's not exempt from that either. It's just the sad part is that you can't be on platform only. You have to go around to another platform to get something done. And even then, it's still an automated, like, answer to the sort of thing. Which
Yeah, I mean, they erect as many barriers as possible to talk to an actual human, because if they actually had to, I mean, this is true for any Google service, unless you are an advertiser, that trying to get a hold of a human is a pain in the ass.
yeah,
And the reason is that they intentionally operate at a scale and with a level of automation that they try and minimize, the head count. Now, their sales teams for their advertising side, they don't try to minimize that head count at all.
yeah,
And if I'm Procter and Gamble and call up as an advertiser, I assure you, they have plenty of people.
yeah, because money.
Because
Google and money.
advertisers are the customers.
Yeah,
The end. If you think as a creator or as a viewer and all that you're the customer, you have fundamentally misunderstood what the company is.
yeah. And well, and I think the story is that even if you're not monetized, they still run ads in your stuff. Partly because again, it is a business, and they need the money to operate. I mean, it takes all billions of dollars to even make YouTube run. And it's a funny. So here's the funniest thing I get. Right. So I get monetization, all that stuff. All on all the platforms, and some of them you have to earn a leveling, and in others, like Rumble, you don't have to.
Right.
You're using a platform for free, and when you hit a certain level, you can take a small bit of that money that's given. I mean, whatever the amount is, I don't know. But you're using a platform for free.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So it just boggles my mind when it's like, because I know people will say, well, I'm putting my content on there. It's like, but you're using the service for free. You do realize that at that point, you've already said yes to everything. And your content is just basically a signed waiver every time you do it. Oh no, they have my stuff is on their platform now, and yada yada yada.
Yeah, but I'm putting my furniture in this house. Yeah, it's not your house.
You gotta say it more. You gotta say it more, Jesse Jackson.
Hell no, not your house.
You think you come in this neighborhood? You think you could jack it up? Ain't no way. Ain't no way. This ain't your house. Get your stuff out. Basically, it's
I mean, Jesse Jackson would be like, it is not your house. I do not understand why you think it is your house, but it is not.
I just thought you're gonna have like an angry black guy just kind of be like, "This ain't your house. Get out. This is my house." Do you even know?
Like, you can put furniture in my house, but you're gonna pay me for that, or I'm going to figure out a way to make money off of your shit.
That's basically what we're all doing with these platforms.
Yeah.
You want to talk about this being your house? Pay the bills.
Yeah, it was like, but that's my table. You put it in my house. Mine now.
Would you say? Would you build them walls? Would you build that foundation? What the hell you think you got? It ain't no right. Yeah, it's a freemium service.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, the thing is that any of these platforms, and you look at it and you go, who's the customer? Well, if you're not paying them, you ain't it. Right? You're the product.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. And a lot of people, I mean, people forget that when YouTube started out, you weren't monetized at all. There was no money out of it. People just posted, which was sort of the whole thing of what content creation was. Is somebody would see it and then you just go from there. But once you added monetization to it, my gosh, you opened up a beast that you don't want to even talk about.
Yeah, and remember that. So at first it was they're going to select certain people to be in the monetization thing, and it was hand selected, right? But then Google tried to do something similar to the streaming services, where they're like, okay, well, we're going to have our own content, right? That's paid for by us, that we pick these creators or whatever. That failed magnificently, which is why they don't do that anymore.
Yep.
And they opened up monetization to the point where it's like, okay, here's the levels you have to hit, and basically the thing they care about is this a demographic that we have advertisers interested in? Is it of sufficient volume, and are you worth the pain in the ass, right? I mean, because if you're getting copyright strikes constantly, we're not going to bother. If
Mhm.
you are you know, uploading infrequently, and so, you know, as with any big business, you want to be able to predict what, you know, what the future is. And if you are random in your uploads or things like that, then they're not going to emphasize you, right? You may have one hit and then everything else, you know, gets nobody.
Yeah.
Well, if all of those videos are the same length, um, man, we're spending a lot of money for that one
Mhm.
video that was actually worthwhile and hit the demographic. But also, as you saw with the apocalypse,
Mhm.
what happens when the advertisers become concerned about the platform because you had some muckraking journalists who were concerned about their own advertising levels,
Mhm.
you know, go and make all kinds of accusations about, you know, hey, this one edge case, that's what's actually happening everywhere. And advertisers stopped and pulled back, and Google dropped the hammer on a lot of people because
Yep.
I got to have my money.
Yeah. I gotta get paid so you can
Yeah,
keep your stuff in this house.
exactly. I don't know if your stuff gonna be here or not, but this will still be my house at the end of this. So
Your uncle said you gotta leave.
yeah, get a job.
Oh, but I mean, you know, for all it's worth, I understand. Um, Again, well, why people stay, and like you were saying, it's a big ocean. There's a whole bunch of all this stuff, and that's understandable. But at the end of the day, though, that's where a lot of people get themselves in trouble. And for me, multi-platforming yourself helps take care of it. At least it helps take away from having one platform having so much power over your content, because that's a problem now. Is that you see these stories that not only YouTube but Twitch as well, right? Twitch has had its own
Hmm.
owner deal, and we'll see how long that lasts. Because I think there was a thing let out last year that Twitch doesn't make them, Amazon any money. But it does have an important factor, and that's being a data pool, which that's what YouTube is as well. It's a data pool. It's Google's little experiment place. And so people tend to forget that. But like, I'll just upload my stuff here. Forget the AI stuff. The thing I complain about day in and day out, and then all of a sudden you upload your stuff to the biggest AI data pool you've ever known.
Yeah, I mean that was, you know, the thing is that you know, I remember having conversations with other programmers back, you know,
Mm,
10 plus years ago, and I was like, well, I can tell you who are going to be best positioned, you know, if they start to focus on machine learning, you know, in the future, and it's going to be Google, and it's going to be Facebook, and
yep.
Amazon's going to be a distant third.
Mhm.
You know, so they fire up Twitch. You know, they buy Twitch from, you know, it was originally Justin TV, and
Yeah.
you know, the thing is that it has. I'm not sure that it has quite worked the way that they think.
Mm.
No, NC Native, you're right. I'm doing this entirely naked.
Nah, I'm not even gonna say anymore. uh-uh. No, but yeah, you're
I
not. You're
mean,
not.
if you do a $10 donation, I'll continue to keep this camera off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you won't see any cut glass nipple right there. Um, but yeah, it's just a funny thing to me when you keep hearing these people complain about the AI stuff, or generative AI or whatnot. And I think it wasn't too long ago that YouTube implemented that inspiration tab on the
Hmm.
back end for creators. Sooner or later, creators are going to have to realize that that's the beginning of YouTube making its own creators.
Yeah, I mean, well, yes and no. I mean, the problem that you have is that in order to do that, they have to mark that content as not, you know, being scraped and used for data analysis, because if you take the outputs
Mm,
of neural nets and LLMs and all of that, right, and feed it back into itself, you know, it becomes a human centipede, and eventually it pollutes its own models. It's that's actually true for a lot of the internet. When OpenAI really kind of unleashed Chat GPT on the internet,
Yep.
it shit where it eats because it depends on so much of the content on the internet to continue to train and build models. But the thing is that as soon as you mark anything past 2020 or 2021, that's all polluted, because if you keep feeding it back in, what you get is this attenuation where it becomes overtrained on certain things, and it will start really emitting some hilarious stuff. So data suddenly like has this hard limit on the internet where it was like, yeah, I don't want any data after 2020 or 2021 if that's what I'm doing, right? Training LLMs or any kind of machine learning, because there is now so much pollution out there that was machine generated.
Yeah. For certainly the deep fake stuff was starting back in the day. That was for certain. But yeah, it's just I think for a time those oceans, Twitch and YouTube and all that, they're just gonna be the data pools for the AI, and sooner or later they're gonna try to at least have their own ad friendly creator where they won't have to worry about doing strikes or whatever. It'll all be done within their system, and it may not be it'll be a small minute thing just as a testing realm, because oh, look at this thing, it's so interesting, so whatever. And then you'll see creators start losing their ability to earn on YouTube. Won't be all right away. Obviously it's never all right away. It's always a slow drip, right? It's always a slow drip.
Yep.
But once they've introduce that inspiration tab, right? The thing that's supposed to inspire you to make it won't matter after that point, because sooner or later down the road they will be having their own thing, right, as a testing or whatever, and they'll keep it up and they'll be like, oh, hey, ad guys, we have this thing we're testing out, would you like to run your thing through it? It won't go against anything you guys don't want. We'll follow through on it, all that stuff. And if it's successful enough that it still sells while it's running,
yeah, I think the problem that they'll have is they may see short-term success because you'll have a lot of marketers that are dumb. That actually describes most marketers.
No, wait, not dumb, just purely nonsensical, rational mindset.
No, dumb. Dumb is the word that I'm looking for. Stupid would be the better one.
Idiot. I'd go for idiot.
They're absolute idiots, right? And what they do is they cargo cult everything because they don't actually understand their own business or what they're supposed to do, right? The two departments in any major corporation that you could walk into, fire everyone, and improve the operations is marketing and HR.
Wow.
But the thing is that you will have people that decide, I'm going to jump on this new hotness, in the same way that by the way, most of the people that are renting time from Chat GPT are marketers, because we certainly don't know what we're doing. Maybe we can get a machine that knows better what we're doing. It won't. It'll hallucinate all kinds of interesting things, and hilarity will follow, but it'll take a few years to actually realize what's going on. And I think if you have advertisers do the same kind of thing where you have machine generated stuff, the fact is that you will struggle always to be good enough to fake out humans, because humans evolved to read other humans, to understand reality, right, in a three-dimensional world. And the problem with it's the same reason CG can be a problem in a lot of movies and all that, right? When you try to replicate reality comes with a lot more complexity than you think it does. You will always be approximating, and we have a pretty good ability to detect those approximations, even if we're not, cognitively aware of it. There's a reason the uncanny valley is a thing, right? We just have a visceral revulsion to things that are too close but not quite human. right?
Right.
If we see somebody dribbling a basketball and the physics aren't quite right, we'll sense it. It'll just be wait, what's going on? Something makes me uncomfortable because that's not behaving according to everything that I've been immersed in and the way that all of my senses have evolved, in reality.
Right.
So those who think that we're just going to replace movies with AI or human outputs with AI, either have a very low opinion or low ability themselves about what humans can do, and a very naive understanding of what machine learning is capable of.
Well, I mean, it is until it isn't. That's the point, right? Like technology has always been it is until it isn't. The first cell phone, right, or the first black phone, whatever we call it. It was a cell phone until it became a smartphone, right?
Right, but those are just applications and physical shrinkages, right? The better example is how's that fusion coming along?
well, that's an energy thing, and that's more science fiction and science fact at this point.
Well, no,
Even though they
fusion
talk about
absolutely exists. The sun is a good demonstration of that, right?
well,
The thing
I
is
like
that
it,
break-even fusion.
right?
I mean, you have scientists, absolute scientists, and we're spending billions of dollars or whatever.
Mm,
It will be 10 years away, and it will always be 10 years away.
mm.
How is the self-driving cars working out?
Ask Elon.
Or anybody else, right? Chevy shut down their whole cruise thing because it was
Mm,
a shit show, right? But I've been promised self-driving cars since I was a kid.
for ages. Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
even the nineties.
multiple decades, many decades.
Well, I mean, you've also been promised jetpacks too, but I mean, you are getting pretty close with that. You are getting pretty.
I
Not
mean, you
maybe a
have
jet.
jetpacks right now. The problem is they last about 5 seconds because reaction mass is a thing.
Well, I mean, there's also those air powered uh packs I've been seeing, and that's more than 5 seconds that they last. So there's
I mean, the
that.
thing is, you'll always have a physics problem, right? I'm gonna have solar panels
Mm.
powering the world. No, you're not.
Oh no, no, not just. You'd have to have more than just that. But then again, I mean, if you want a physics problem, they point to the B as an impossibility, right? That's an impossibility in nature and the law of physics, or
Wait,
what
they point to what?
the B.
No, the B most assuredly is possible.
No, but I'm saying the dynamics of it or at least of whatever it are impossible or it shouldn't be in nature or whatever they keep saying for it.
No, the biggest problem with that was the limited understanding that we have of aerodynamics, which we
Mm,
are very much aware of because we see bees, we know they exist. It's just that our understanding of it has a limit, right? There
mm,
are, however, harder limits on things. See, the where we keep making mistakes on is, it's tech, as if it is magic. It isn't, right? Technology always has hard limits because
yeah,
physics is a thing.
yeah, and then as we as human beings try to outpace that to some degree or change it or
Well,
do
you'll always run. I mean, anybody that's trying to outpace physics ends up doing. I have a perpetual motion machine, and we all point and laugh at them, and then move on.
I thought they called that a Stirling engine or
No,
that. Oh. But I mean, at a certain point, it's not. It doesn't drive away those who are continuation trying to uh, accord those impossibilities, as one would call it, because I mean, you're still having at least someone trying to do. Well, yeah, many people doing the self-driving cars, and there have been many tests or videos I've seen where the Teslas are doing all these self-driving. I think there was one video I saw where they were going from San Francisco or something, and it was like over an hour or something long. And so you have that thing that eventually it's not going to reach a what do they keep calling it, a singularity or something like that, tech singularity. But
that's
at
the AI singularity.
well, there's been more beyond that scope as well. But at the end
No,
of it,
that's what the singularity is that you make machines that become more advanced than humans, and then they take off and escalate on their own. That's what the singularity is.
It's probably what that Matrix was too. Gosh, that movie.
Yeah.
But the point being though is that you're always going to have that chase after that creation because that's just what humans do.
Yeah, and I think you'll always have Don Quixote tilting at windmills, and I'll hey, bro, what's up? As long as you ain't causing problems for anybody else, you do you. But the fact is that there are clear limits, if not in potential, at least in the technique that they are pursuing right now.
Mm.
And I would LLMs are an excellent example of that. They will always struggle to accept new facts and to create something that is factually correct. Because what they are at the end of the day is just statistical models of word usage and linkages between the frequency of one word to another.
Mm.
So it has no understanding of what physics is. It just says that I read these physics and this formula always repeats. So when I see the beginning of this, the next thing will be this. And then these words surround it, right? So it's always a frequency analysis. That's it. Can you get to human level of intelligence? No. Can you get to a thing that is not conscious, but could at least mimic it well enough to fool people? Sure. But Eliza did that back in the 60s, where people were absolutely convinced they were talking to a therapist via a terminal. And all it was a very simple word association and recreation of Jungian psychology. The fooling people isn't the hard part. The actually doing the thing is. And, when you look at things like self-driving, if what you're doing is constantly building statistical models, good luck, because you will never have enough samples to deal with the complexity of reality. You have to go a different way. But what they get is early results. Oh, this is working out. And then they hit a hard wall. Trust me, this is the third time of the turn of the wheel for AI since I've been alive. And it had a couple of turns before that. That it promises everything. Oh my God, we're going to do that. Expert Systems in the 90s was going to be the solution to the whatever. And then it ran up against the wall and died. And then we had an AI winter. And then here we come again. And then you will overpromise and underdeliver, and you will have an AI winner again. And it will go away, and then it will come back again, right? And each time it comes back, it's trying a different slant to the problem. Can you eventually hit that? Yeah. Can you do it with the current tools that you're using? No.
But then it will just come back again. So that's
right. So you're probably going to need another AI winner. You're going to have some other breakthrough that happens in research, or somebody comes up with something. They then try it, and let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, trial and error, basically what humans have been doing for ages and ages. Now the question I have for you is because of the thing with Elon and catching those rockets, right? The fuselages after they get disconnected. Why is it that one could say NASA hasn't been doing that or trying to do that? Because that's something.
Because previously, your concern was purely launch and get thing going, and especially when you were using up old ICBMs, which is what we had been using for quite a while. Who cares if they're reusable or not, right? They're cheaper than making it reusable. Fact is that Elon has yet to make money with SpaceX, and coming up with cool thing that lands. That may be the way to the future, but the fact is land it and then fuel it up and launch it again immediately. Let me know, because that's not what happens. Those things get taken, rebuilt. What's the cost of the rebuilds and all that, right? And then what's the demand for it? I think that we see things that go, that is cool, and think, oh, it's never been done before. Sometimes there's a reason it hasn't been done before. Sometimes it was done before, and people go, no, we're good with that. Was it Delta V? It was a program in the 90s that was a vertical takeoff and landing rocket.
Didn't they have a name for that though? The there was an acronym for that because they had those planes that you could do vertical takeoff. And all
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff.
VSTOL, vertical
Oh,
takeoff and landing.
yeah, that's it.
Right, but this was actual rocket. It was sponsored by NASA and others in the Delta V program competition. Who can do it? And they did it. And the problem is that they looked at it and goes, "This is not as cost effective as just using up old ICBMs."
Mm. Yeah, well, and that's understandable too. Then that would bring the equation of it's not well, at least from what had been described many times over, was to reuse of the rockets. So they what was that? I couldn't even remember the words exactly, but to reuse the rockets for that remark of not have to spend so much money to build something new, because it would probably cost more to build new than to reuse.
You'd be surprised because so if you look at the engines themselves,
Mm,
think about the stresses that they go through and the kind of heat that they go through. Metal fatigues under heat,
mm,
under vibration, and all that stuff, right? The ability to make an engine that will not have problems at all generally results in an engine too damn heavy to fly, right?
mm.
Because the thing about rocketry is you're always trading weight for
Fuel.
fuel, payload, and all that,
Mm,
right? Robustness versus weight.
mm,
That's always the trade-off you're making. In the same way that I could make a car engine right now that would run 1,000,000 miles, not need oil change and all that stuff, right? You would never be able to afford to buy it. And there's no way through volume manufacture that I can make it so that you can afford to buy it.
mm.
So just because I can do a thing doesn't mean that's actually the good solution.
Well, I mean, you're going to go through many iterations. It's not just going to be one systematic way. Obviously, they've from at least from the beginning of SpaceX, it seems like they've updated and changed and gotten things different ways and all that stuff. So they're
Right, but they
not.
haven't. But the thing is that what they've done is not anything that has been earth-shatteringly innovative or new. What they've done is refinement of prior things. The thing is that at the end of the day, metallurgy is kind of hard limits on what's going on. Can you come up with with a new alloy? Sure. I don't see them doing it
Mm,
because what they do is they tend to outsource a lot of that stuff, right? Because they don't have smelting plants and they're not pouring everything, to making all the metals themselves and all that, right? Very few industries are so vertically integrated like the old automotive companies were, where you basically pumped in iron ore on one side and got car out the other, because it becomes cost prohibitive. Efficiency based on specialization becomes a thing. So you start to say, well, I'll just get my steel from U.S. Steel.
mm,
Right. So I'll at least, I have steel. I'll melt it. I'll pour it into molds because, I still do casting and all that, but I'm not doing creation of steel from raw iron ore anymore.
mm,
And the more complex that you get with metallurgy, the more specialized the skill it is. So you outsource that stuff. Right.
mm. Well, I mean, they've outsourced getting the batteries and whatnot, and that's a whole nother ordeal in itself.
Mm. By the way, how's Tesla doing? Their sales have been dropping quite a bit because the market for electric vehicles is a bit saturated right now, and absent a serious breakthrough in battery technology, which involves a lot of problems of basic chemistry,
Mm.
they will always have limits compared to pouring in fuel and having a combustion engine. Just the nature of the beast.
Use put a buns of steel.
I support that.
Yeah, buns. I had to pull that one up. That was a pretty good one.
Yeah, I'm in favor of that program.
I thought you were just a part of the program for buns.
And
The
I do
bun.
my part to support buns of steel whenever I can. There is that unfortunate restraining order with that one, but it's fine. It's fine.
Hey, just because you said Merry Christmas the wrong way doesn't mean you get slapped.
Yeah, come on.
That's too funny. But I mean, it's it's always a avenue of, you know, humans don't give up just because you tell them no, right? I mean, that's the basis of why the AI thing keeps coming back, and the, trying to do this thing. You may say it's not earth shattering, but it's still not diminished the ability to keep going at it to solve the issue.
Oh, I mean, I think if you look at the direction and the ways that people were doing AI
Mm,
30 or 40 years ago, machine learning in particular, versus now, there is been some pretty earth-shattering changes in the way they do it.
mm,
And they make leaps from, we can just play chess, effectively, and beat a grandmaster, which is a very constrained domain that you're operating in,
mm,
to the ability to do image detection. Again, the domain is less constrained, but still constrained, right? But those leaps were necessary, and so my ability to have a phone that can do no shake and recognize faces and all that stuff or whatever, right? If I would travel back 30 years ago, behold,
mm,
they would be, well, that's what the hell. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Was it just ours amped up by 8 million times? No, your path was actually shit. Somebody
mm,
else came up with a better path.
mm,
But the ability to detect light and movement and things like that. Congrats. Horseshoe crabs do that. But they also understand when the moon is coming out or not, right? Even though that they don't have,
mm,
clocks, or star charts.
mm,
It's just, nature has been working on this stuff for a few billion years. We've
mm,
been working on things for a couple hundred.
mm,
We're a bit behind the curve. We're catching up. But I can tell you that the methods that you use, that a horseshoe crab uses,
mm,
to detect light and the moon is not going to get you to Aristotle and the ability to reason and understand the world to
mm.
the level of Aristotle.
Well, why pick Aristotle? You could have picked Socrates for that one. Come on, man. Don't lie.
Well, Aristotle came out. He was a later model. He was a little improved, had some racing stripes. It was cool.
the Aristotle the Aristotle engine this summer.
Exactly. I mean,
I,
Socrates, his last words were, "I drank what?"
but not to start with a U and end with an E.
Yeah. Yeah, he ends with
Socrates.
hemlock, so that's not so good. That's
Oh,
that's
that's not good.
problematic.
No,
Yeah.
Socrates. That's right, Socrates, ladies and gentlemen. Socrates. That's Aristotle. Look at that. I mean, he's already catching up to us
Yep.
so well. Aristotle. I think he's on the sports ordeal. So there's
It could be.
that. What's that sport called? Butt ball.
Sports ball.
Sports. Well, they already had like what was that one movie? The
Basketball?
basketball. Yeah, I'm just like I think I get confused after the first 5 minutes. Wow, how do you play this game? All right, so here's the rules. I think I'm just gonna go home.
Yeah, well, it's like playing Calvin ball. If you read Calvin and Hobbes as a kid, right? Because he would play it, and the rules would constantly change while
Yeah,
playing.
yeah, because the rules were always made up.
Yeah, yeah, and constantly being revised.
Yeah, constantly. Well, yeah, that's just called making it up as you go.
Exactly.
you when you have a game that's called Calvin Ball and your name is Calvin, I'm pretty
You
sure we
have a
can
pretty good
guess.
idea who's going to win. Yeah.
No, you can't do that. Well, but those aren't the rules. I just made that one up. Well, thanks for that, Coach. I appreciate that.
That was my mistake. I didn't change my name to Foot before playing football. That was
Your name is Foot, and it's called what again?
Yeah,
So
football.
there's a ball, right? Yeah, I get that part.
Yeah.
There's a ball you kick in the net. Okay, so what's next? That's it. That's all you do. You have two teams. One has to kick the ball into the opposite net. Wait. You're saying that's a game? Well, I mean, there's golf. I mean, what are you doing? Putting the
Yeah.
ball in
Okay.
the
What you
hole?
do is you take a crooked stick and you hit a ball as far as you can, and
Yeah.
then you walk after it. And when you find the ball, you hit it again. That sounds like a shit game. I think I'll stay home.
You wait. You play a game where you toss a ball into a net,
No,
but
you
it
don't
doesn't.
toss it. No. Stop that. No.
No, oh, that's right. You slam dunk it. I apologize.
Well, remember that the game started out as with a peach basket.
Yeah, a hole in the peach basket.
Yeah. So there we go. Yeah. Oh, and you dribble. You mean like drool? No. That's not what we're talking about. You have to bounce the ball as you walk. Well, why do you call it dribbling? I don't know. That's what I got.
No, well, now if you hold it while you're going down the court, that's called traveling, and you get called out for that. But it's a ball. I don't have to bounce it all the time. It's called basketball for a reason. So you have to. What about that one game where you just toss a ball to get to your team to the other end? Wait, what? Isn't that basketball? No. It's called football.
No, football.
Wait, what about the other football? No, that's called soccer. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Why do we make so many games with balls and nets?
Well, you understand, we were bored. This is what we had.
Balls and holes.
Yeah. Well, somebody's doing it wrong.
Hey, can you see that? So why don't we just call it balls and holes? You have to understand, kids play these games too. What kind of monster are you?
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. What's another
Yeah.
one?
What do you let the kids play? Dodgeball. I'm sorry.
Oh.
What? Yeah. What you do is you throw a ball as hard as you can at a kid. I mean, that doesn't sound so much fun for the kid.
Yeah, well, target practice.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
teaching them how to be targets.
Look, it's a Darwinian pressure. We're trying to bring evolution back. Okay.
There you go.
We've kind
There
of
you go.
stagnated a bit.
Have you heard of that game called tennis? Okay, what's tennis? Okay, so you take a little racket thing, and you have a ball, all right, and you hit the ball with the racket thing. Okay, what do you do with that? Well, what you're trying to do is making sure it lands on the opposite side, right? Wait, what? And there's gonna be a guy on the other side trying to hit the ball back to you. Okay, so you're just hitting the ball back and forth. Yeah. But you're trying to make sure that you hit it on their side and they miss. Wait. What?
Also, wait till we explain the scoring system to you.
two love.
30 love.
30 love. Look, if I'm losing at that point, it don't feel like love at all.
Yeah. Can I just score one? No. You get 15.
Oh my goodness.
What the hell happened to 10? Sorry, it's 15.
15 and no more shots after that. Tennis has true love. No, it does not. It does not feel like true love after it. When you could just take any game, right, and you just sit there and you try to explain it to somebody and you just make it as basic as possible, do you think they give up on playing the game?
I mean, I've heard plenty of them, but it was like if you were totally unaware of the existence of this sport, because we have the benefit mostly of experiencing somewhat tangentially in our lives, and just kind of gets incorporated in our brains. But if you came down and just explained it, people would be like, "Man, I don't think this species is going to make it. This is some dumb shit that they've come up with here."
Wait, you say there's a game called hockey? Yeah, you never heard of it? Well, wait, what's hockey? Well, you're on ice. Whoa, hold a second. You're on slippery ice? Yeah, it's, you have these little things called skates, and then you skate. Whoa, what are skates? Look,
Well, the real sharp blades we stick on the bottom of our feet, and then that makes us go real fast on ice. This does not sound like a good plan.
Look,
Okay, well, if you want something, we have a game called bowling. We set up some pins, and then you take a ball, a real heavy ball, right, like a big rock, and you roll it down there, and then you try and knock everything down. Okay, and then what? Well, then the ball has early times you probably had to go get the ball, set the pins back up or whatever. It was like, this sounds as dumb as hitting the thing with a stick. Well, okay, so we have a better version. The Canadians came up with a version of bowling. Okay, we have ice. I'm sorry, what? No, it's fine. We have ice, and then we have people with brooms.
Oh yeah.
And then you have a stone, but then you have to slide it down there, and then you're trying to land it in these circles, and the people with brooms can sweep the ice and make the stone curve. Yeah. What the hell is going on with you people?
Well, what do you call that game? It's called curling. Wait, hold on a second. Wait. The thing you do with your clothes is called curling. No, that's called ironing. No.
Curling you do with your hair.
Yeah.
Also, a stone, ice, and brooms.
Wow, the things we make up to get ourselves out of boredom, only to realize we we make them, we try to explain them, and they're like the most boring thing ever.
I mean, the thing is that behind all of this was men trying to impress women, and these
Wow.
were the best ideas we came up with.
I don't know about softball though. I think that was a woman's sport that some woman made up. I really do. Softball, they just had a little ball. They had a big, huge, giant ball and said, that's more of like a medical problem there. Oh, sorry. No, you're supposed to.
Yeah. You twisted his little strangled. It's fine. It's fine.
we're gonna make a lot of people hate sports after this.
Well, I think it's more just the utter ineptitude of men when coming up with ideas to try and pick up women. Right?
Ah,
Okay. What? All right. Bob, you get the ice. I got the stone. Mo, did you bring the brooms?
mm.
Okay. I guarantee the girls are gonna come flocking when they see us playing this game. Okay. All right. Here we go. And 100 years later, it's still around. And we still haven't figured out this is not working. I don't think this is our best plan.
Hold on. He hold on. He says, "I'll turn your head and cough. I'll determine this."
Yeah.
Oh, there. Hold on there. Who said you could touch? We have an activity. It's called
Wingalingus. Oh yeah.
I've never even heard of
It's a B-sides favorite. It involves a little girl who was trying to figure out what gravity is, and she goes to ask her big sister and walks in, and her big sister and the boyfriend can't be seen, but you can see his wingtips, and then his face seems to be buried in the general crotch region, and big sister is having a lot of fun.
Huh? Yeah,
So we named it Wingalingus.
Well, they used to call that hanky panky, but I guess things have changed now. But anyway, it is the top of the hour, and of course, it is power hour time, which means setting aside some time to promote our stuff. Although mostly the stuff you do is with someone else, so I'll let
Absolutely
you do your stuff. But yeah, so why don't you go ahead? I did. I only found your Twitter X link, but if you want to promote the B-roll stuff, because I know you're a big part of that, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so you can absolutely check us out every Friday evening on Adam Gray's channel, BRollStage on YouTube and Rumble and whatever streaming platform you enjoy. Adam finds the worst possible movies to watch and then takes great delight in torturing his friends by making them watch him. And you can laugh at our pain every Friday night. On Saturdays, I'm on Film Comics Explained's channel, Niat. He does a lot of deep lore dives into, we just finished the Alien and Predator movies and discuss that. We're moving on to actually good movies now because, man, the last 6 weeks have been a slog because we went through them as they released. And there's been some really terrible movies in that list. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, you can usually find me on Diabolical Souls stream, where we cover animation. Both the technical aspects of it as well as really great stories. We're covering Primal right now, which is fantastic, and Kaiju number 8.
Oh, you're getting to the Japanese side.
No, we have a bunch of weebs involved with that. I just look at them and scowl when they go, "Oh, and it's the thing," and I was like, "That's a stupid thing. Stop doing that."
You're what the kids call a buzzkill, there, aren't you, Jay?
Look, I have an allergic reaction to stupid. I can't help myself. I just,
Look, I'm only going to explain it to you once. But you're a dumb kid. Get him.
Yeah. But it's a trope. Shut up. I'm going to establish a new trope, which is kicking you in the groin.
Look, your mom's a trope. How do you think she got here in the first place?
Exactly. Yeah.
Technically, that's true. But anyway, for for of course on the YouTube side and Rumble side, Adam's been posting the link. So thank you for that, Adam. That's mostly for the B-roll stuff, but yes, B-roll cruel, B-roll cruel crew. God.
Cruel is the word you're looking for. Yes.
That's more like Adam's area, though. He's
Yes.
more cruel
Yes.
in that regard. But Barb was nice. Barb was nice, so I'm not going to say anything
Yes. She has
bad.
terrible taste in men, but otherwise a wonderful woman.
Well, can't win them all. But but anyway, whether you're on the Rumble side or whether you're on the YouTube side, right? If you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated, because not only does it help in being seen more, which all content creators want, it also helps in having other people on as guests, like Jay, like Adam, like Barb, like the small man on the street with one eye open. All those kind of people. So it's not just a content creator smorgasbord, it's an everyone smorgasbord, or at least almost everyone. You got to keep out the riffraff. But anyway, any help with the engagement factor on either Rumble or YouTube, much appreciated. Of course, if you want to see where else I'm at, there's a link down below on either Rumble or YouTube. You can check that out and see where else I'm at. And if you want to take up the opportunity to come on yourself, guess what? You need to leave a comment on either Rumble, YouTube, or you can go to that link below and find me in those places, because at the end of the day, February is shaping up, and I'm looking forward to all the wonderful new people and returning coming back. So there's that. But yes, any help with engagement and links down below. I appreciate you all. Ooh, oh my goodness. But yeah, YouTube side still funny. Well, it smells funny, but it's not, doesn't smell bad enough that people will keep going back there, because there's money over there, and where there's money, people say, it stinks, but I can put up with it. So there's that.
That's accurate.
A trope on a rope, unless she uses pad. Now you just ruined it. Now we're just gonna let that one slide, like a bloody Sunday. But anyway, but yeah, it's the Rumble still has its points it needs to get up on, but it's getting there. It's not an easy gig trying to run a video sharing site, because all the things that it costs associated with making a video running platform. YouTube can do it, but albeit barely, because even though they're Google, they're still considered a separate entity, so to speak, even though they'll be used for like AI training stuff and all that. It's like the again, it's one of those things in the world where you see a lot of people complain about it, about the AI art generated stuff, and then you're like, but you're on YouTube. Yeah, and no, it's not. Yeah, and it's you're giving into YouTube and Google, them using your stuff. It's like, nah, it's like, if you don't understand how this works, then you'll never understand how dumb you are right at this very second.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it
Well,
like that.
I think a lot of it's true for humans in general that we suddenly climb up on high horses and get very absolutist about our moral principles right up until it's painful for us. And then we seem to get very flexible.
Yeah, well,
I don't support AI and this and that, whatever, but you're uploading on YouTube. Yeah, but that's where the audience is. Yeah, but where do you think all of these models are getting trained for? It's complicated. Yes, it suddenly got complicated when you were the one that was going to have to take the hit and suffer some pain or inconvenience.
yeah, it's because again, around YouTube's been around the longest. Then I think Twitch was a little after that. I'm not too sure, or Justin TV. Sorry, but in one hand, it's understandable for the benefits it offers, but on the other hand, it gets kind of a running joke when you see people, again, one, not spreading themselves out there, but understandable. So if there are certain exceptions to the rule, right? Tech issues or whatever. But the problem of it is, and I keep seeing, is people need to understand you're not in the small ball game anymore, right? When it just used to be YouTube, that was a small ball game, and even then, before the monetization stuff came, it was still a small ball game. Now you're 20 years or so it's 2025, 2005. Yeah, so you're about 20 years out from when YouTube originally started. You're no longer small anymore. You're no longer in a small field. You are now in probably the biggest field you've ever been in your life, and you're thinking small.
Yeah, and I think a
I
lot of
just
that idea of the smallness of YouTube is we all tend to have like genres that of content that we're interested in,
yeah.
and so you become familiar with like the players in that area.
Mm,
The thing is, you have no idea the number of genres that are there. I was talking to a friend of mine,
mm,
and he was talking about how a couple of content creators he knows, they've got like 2 million subs, and it's like huge. And I was like, dude, it's a rounding error. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, there are creators that have 100 million plus
mm,
that you've never heard of,
mm,
because it's just not a thing you encounter. The only reason I would be aware of them is because it got brought up somewhere, and I was like, who? Holy shit.
yeah.
Right. But if you're an adult, there's a chance, as soon as you actually started like showing any kind of preferences at all,
Mm,
to the YouTube algorithm, you probably have never seen a Mr. Beast video pushed out to you,
mm,
right? But
yeah.
I mean, that thing is hundreds of millions, right?
Yeah.
I've never had a PewDiePie
Yeah.
video pushed out to
Mm,
me,
mm,
right? That's 100 million plus.
yeah.
The right, and I assure you that there is an underwater basket weaving channel that has like 2 million subs,
Hmm.
just because, right? And
Yeah.
it's just the law of large numbers, right? You get enough people on a platform, and
Mm,
whatever niche that you think is tiny will have accumulated enough people that it's actually viable, to attract not just a single creator, but a whole
mm.
host of them.
Well, yeah, and you kind of see that again. You have people trying to play to the fortune of the algorithm, right? They do the wacky thumbnails, they do the clickbait titles, the gotcha or whatever, uh, and for me, I can't play that game because that excludes the ability to be true to what this thing is, right?
Yeah,
Already done over an hour of it, and you already see what it is. But the point of the matter of the scape is that's what majority of content creators play to. Why? Because they've seen other content creators. I'm not talking like the older people, right? Like Markiplier and PewDiePie and all of them. They're still on there. They're still doing their thing. They've got all their stuff. But the point of the matter is you have a lot of people now who want to be, even kids, right? They want to be content creators because they think it will be a an easy success, where that's just never been the case.
right.
It never, and it never will be the case either, because even if you do get to that percentage where you can make some money off it, you've put all your stuff on one platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad business, but the thing is that I mean, every platform
Hmm.
or job has those who enjoy the idea of being successful at doing that thing,
Hmm.
and either lack the ability or the work ethic to actually have a chance at success. I want to be an NBA player. Do you live and breathe on the basketball court and are constantly going? And oh, by the way, did you happen to win a bit of a genetic lottery
Hmm.
and all that? No, then you need to put that aside. I'll just be an actor because all you do is just act or whatever. And I was like, I don't think you understand the competition for that, right? And everything involved. Uh,
Right.
and oh, by the way, become famous and see how much you hate life,
Yeah. Oh,
because there's nothing you can do that's private. Um,
well,
you know,
not only that, but you have enough movies out there, biopics, right? What are you gonna call them? Where the story, where the majority, I just got done seeing the. I don't know if you watch any current movies, because I know you guys watch public domain movies, so I don't know if that's a change or not. But I just got done, seeing the Williams movie,
mhm.
Better Man, and I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people looked and said CGI monkey, but they didn't go and see the movie, or they just, and a trailer does that, right? A trailer is supposed to be your contact point for what is this movie going to be about, sort of thing. So if a trailer fails to draw you in, then it's not going to get people to movie and stuff. So that could have been a situation too. But anyway, I went to go see the movie, and again, and I also saw the biopic with Elton John, right? Rocket Man.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, with any of these, but what would be a good term? Creative license videos, because these aren't always true to form. There are some bits that are true. Majority of the time, they're dramatized up and all that stuff. But the point of the matter is that they show you that fame isn't everything, and you end up with people who get so divested into it that they start going down that road where, as we've seen with any celebrity, right, the golden calves so praised up on high that the roads for them to do any bad thing is so easy to do, right? It's easier to do, right? Not so easy, but it's easier to do, and they just take themselves to a point of killing themselves, basically.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, but it's sort of like a subconscious wanting to die sort of thing. But they won't notice that because they're so coked up and drugs and all that.
Or they'll lie to themselves or whatever. But the thing is that if you, I mean, for everybody, it's like, oh, that wouldn't happen to me or whatever. Stop it. The fact is that if somebody would have came up to me when I was 19 or 20, and they'd be like, dude, it's unlimited sex and unlimited coke, I would not have lived to 21. There's no way in hell that, I mean, other than just, sheer resilience of youth. Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the longer you run that, there's a reason that musicians die young. And it's because you can only handle that kind of physical load for so long.
Yeah.
And those who seek out fame are already generally hollow inside and looking for the approval of others. They're externally identified. They're not internally identified, right? Their worth is only as others see them. That's already a recipe for failure, right? And then throw on success along with that, and there will be the self-doubt, any criticism sends them off the edge. They will try and fit in and then develop habits, and here we go, and all that stuff, right? Because they're generally not going to be strong-willed people, to begin with. And so it tends to die in tragedy. But the other thing is that humans are shit at actually understanding, the amount of effort required to be at the top of any industry, right? If you talk to any man at the age of 40 or below, he is convinced that if he spent about 6 months really working out and focusing on whatever, he could be a professional athlete. He is absolutely deluded. But I assure you, that goes on. If you dig a little bit, they'll be like, oh yeah, I mean, I could. I don't want to, but I could. Yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
That is someone who has never actually been around a professional athlete. When I went to college, I used to play pickup basketball all the time with guys that were on my dorm floor, and I was I was on an athletic dorm floor,
right?
And I'm 6'5", and at the time about 195, but built like a swimmer, kind of thing, right?
Right.
And I mean, I play basketball. What are you talking about? And there was a guy that was on my floor who was on the track team. He wasn't even good enough to be on the basketball team. Sims was 6 foot tall and looked like he was chiseled out of marble. I mean, you could have just stood there and done like a biology lesson on all of the muscle groups with Sims, right? He was a sprinter and a high jumper. And so he comes in and calls me out because I had one last game, right? And he's like, next, okay. And so I'm figuring, all right, I'm not gonna let Sims get close enough to me to try and, because I know he's quick, right? So I'm gonna start raining outside shots, right? And so I drop like the first 3, and then I miss one, and he gets it, and he goes, ball check, okay, here we go. And I come into the paint because I'm like, I'm not, he's really fast enough he can get by me,
Yeah.
You get in the paint, and I've got the height, right? So I'm standing about 3 steps from outside the rim, right in the lane. And Sim starts at the top of the key and hit like right around the free throw line and jumped entirely over me and dunked. I mean, his balls went over my head. And I just turned and said, "You win." Right.
Wow.
Right. I played tackle football in the back with some of the football guys, right? We
Yeah.
had a guy, Qzilla, he was Quincy Griffith, he was the nose tackle.
Ooh.
And he was like 5'11", 295. And not pretty fast runner. And I was playing tight end, so they do a pitch to me. And I turn the corner and I see I'm just aware, like I got a peripheral vision. I was like, man, Q's like 4 yards from me. And I'm just getting up to speed. And the next thing that happened is the world turned sideways. Because Qzilla closed that gap so fast and just bang. Now, if we'd have lined up and ran 100, I'd have left him in the dust. But the first 10 or 20 yards, oh my God, he'd have killed me, right? Because it was just that strong.
Right.
Right. And he was on a bad team, right? He had no shot at going to the NFL. He became an emergency room doctor, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm looking at guys that are like, this isn't even close to being professional. And then like that year I went to see a Dallas Cowboys game. So when Deion Sanders still played for the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
And I saw Deion run. And I was like, any delusions of being an actual professional athlete, that should dispel that right now.
Yep. Wow.
Right. But it's the same thing when you go to, I'm going to be the best lawyer in the world. Are you? Well, I assure you that you're not going to graduate law school and immediately go into the court.
Right.
Right. You're going to be doing paperwork for 5 years under the partners. Right.
Yeah.
And becoming a trial lawyer is a bitch and all that stuff. And you don't understand the level of, that you may think you're smart. I don't think you've actually met people that are really experts at what they do.
I wonder that was that show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? But yeah, you could until the fifth grader outgrew you. But yeah, that's wow.
But project that to, YouTube. I'm going to be on YouTube. I'm going to be successful, brother. Unless you're willing to put in the time and dedication and effort as if you were trying to be a professional athlete where you just lived and breathed it, right? You are working 20-hour days continuously. You are constantly analyzing data, constantly doing tests, constantly experimenting, doing all that, right? If you're not doing that, you ain't going to be a business, right? The best way to approach it is if you enjoy doing what you do, treat it as a hobby. If the hobby happens to pay for itself, great. If you happen to make a little extra money from the hobby, that's great too. But
So
if you're going to treat it as if you're going to say, this is my business, I'm going to be independent, I won't have to work my job anymore, this, that, whatever. You better be willing to put in the work. And even then, you could do all the work and do the grind and everything. And success is not guaranteed. Failure is. Right? If you're on a fail pattern, if you do the wrong things, I can assure you'll fail. Success, you can do all the right things and it just doesn't happen to line up, right? Because there's always an element of luck and timing with success.
Yeah. That's why for me it's never been about, everything beyond the conversation is just a bonus to the point of it, but it's just you again keep seeing content creators over and over again. And I get, some want to make a business out of it because the job they have they don't want anymore, and that's understandable. I'm not, high end my job either. But at the end of the day, though, there is a risk of probability that you may not be able to make a business out of it. You may not be able to do this out of it. The point of the matter is that, like you said, there's a luck and timing measure, whatever. But you can grow the ability for the opportunity of whatever for that to happen.
Yeah. That's everything that you do is just increasing the odds
Mm,
that if opportunity shows up, you can take advantage of it, right?
mm,
But I think the other thing that so I have a quite a bit of experience working for and with startup companies.
ooh,
In fact, the last decade or so, I've essentially been brought in as turnaround or evaluation guy for startups. You know, somebody's invested in a startup, shit has gone sideways.
right,
Somebody come in here and try and fix this thing, right?
right.
Um, the thing that I'll tell you again, like many things, people are enamored with the idea of being self-employed
Mm,
or having a startup. The reality is very different, and much like certain athletic gifts you have to have in order to be good at sports or whatever.
mm,
You have to have the right mindset to be self-employed,
yeah.
and there are a lot of people that fool themselves into thinking that they do, and they don't. Just
Mm,
because you're good at a job doesn't mean you're good at being self-employed doing that job,
yeah.
right? You have to have, as Adam and I joke about, when you're self-employed, you have the biggest son of a bitch in the world as a boss, and you have the laziest asshole that ever walked the earth as an employee, right? And the thing is that you have to get up every morning and say, yeah, I'm not going to watch some YouTube videos or this and that, whatever, right? I am doing the work. I am grinding it out, right?
Mm,
And there is no safety net. And
mm,
I have a tolerance for risk that is much higher than other people.
mm,
And I like operating in poorly defined and vague situations, right?
mm.
And even then, with all of that, you may still lack skills,
Yeah.
right? But there are so many people that, oh, you got good skills. Unfortunately, you don't have the mindset for it. And
Mm,
no, I can't tell you how to get it, right? Because like many things, I think many people are born with it, or it developed when you were young. It is
mm.
very hard to develop that mindset as an adult, and if you don't have it, don't it, don't try it, because you will invoke a lot of pain and suffering and doing that. So best do it as a hobby.
Yeah. I like Emperor Palpatine sort of pain. Suffer, let the
Yeah.
heat flow through you. Uh,
Well, especially with, I mean, you chose the pain. All right, I'll sit back and watch. But I can tell you how this is going to end.
there's only two ways it's gonna end. It's gonna end the easy way or the hard way. Which
Yeah,
one you
yeah.
want to play?
You've chosen the fail pattern. I can't give you the timeline, but I can tell you exactly how it'll go.
Yeah.
Right. How
You'll
long it lasts is entirely up to you and your dedication and the depth of your bank account.
you'll look like a horse's face, and you'll stay that way.
Yeah. Or you'll look like the other end of the horse.
Or you look like the donkey itself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, it's just a very fascinating thing because it you meet a lot of people along your way, and while you want to be nice about it, and you do see a lot of people say, you know, it's like 1 in a billion chance or whatever, though, because the YouTube, right? Just using YouTube as a
Mm-hmm.
an example. The problem of it is that I think people look in the wrong direction for. I mean, it's great to find a way of defining success for you, right? Because people have a different out view of what success looks like.
Right.
I view success as like I'm doing a thing I didn't think I would be doing before. And I did it all. I just started this like in end towards of 2023, and I'm still here doing this thing, even though every month I'm still like, oh, will I even get people or not? Well, the point of the matter is that if you're like we're talking about earlier, making more opportunities for you, and for me, just doing all this thing, the I just look at it as like, look, there are so many options right there. I'm doing something that should be basic for everyone to do, right? To have hold a conversation, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, it is one of the single hardest things for a majority of people to do. And why
Yeah.
is that? Well, because one part of it is technology, right? You don't have to talk to people anymore. Well, you can talk to people, but through this, right? The gatekeeper, or whatever you want to call it, the gate.
Yeah.
Um, or it's just you have someone who grew up in a home that wasn't really talkative and all this stuff. You have a wide variety of reasons of why people aren't great at it. But yeah, I stumbled upon this thing that I didn't see a lot of other content creators do, other than the sense of like, they usually content creators, they build a circle, right? They build a trust circle, or whatever you want to call it, a group friend or whatever, or a Google Hangout, if you remember that.
Oh yeah.
but the point of the matter is that they usually stay within the circle, and sometimes they'll go find someone who either is within their interests or is someone bigger than them or considered bigger than them, and they'll bring that person in and try to grow themselves more, which is nothing wrong with growing. It's just the point.
Yeah, but when you're just doing it through clout chasing, and if I get this, then somehow, again, it's kind of this delusional idea of I'm going to be part of the entourage of this bigger person, or somehow their success rubs off on me. That's not how that works.
Well, and I'm not going to say that's everyone either, and sometimes it's just for the enjoyment of whatever the interest is. But there is a point where it does feel like it's chasing after that gold after the rainbow, when everyone should just be enjoying that there's actually an actual rainbow, right? And we all know how a rainbow works, but when the rainbow happens, how many people do you think stop by and just look at it, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's like a. I mean, I know a lot of people stop for like a lunar or solar eclipse, sure, because but not everyone has the time to and all that stuff. But just imagine like a rainbow, right? A rainbow that happens after a really rainy day or the angling of the sun, or however it is, and a majority of people just drive on by, right? There's a double arch. I've seen a double arch before, rainbow and all that stuff.
You didn't mean McDonald's. You meant
No, that's the golden arch.
Oh, okay. Well, there's two of them.
Golden arch. That's the golden, not the multicolored arch, which some people would want to claim for themselves. But you do have a lot of people that just kind of just like just drive by that sort of thing. And of course, you don't want to drive while you're looking at a rainbow. It's probably the dumbest thing you can do. Look, Mama Reno. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, save those kind of distractions for hot women that are walking on the sidewalk as you drive by or something. It's,
at 60 miles. How if you're going?
Make sure you whistle at her. That's a good plan. I'm sure she'll run up behind you, grab the bumper, and go with you home. That's again, these are the terrible ideas that men have trying to pick up women.
Just the man is like, yeah, the Johnson car is going at 60 miles per hour, and the Timpson truck is going at 40 miles per hour. Which one do you think is going to win?
Yeah, physics will assert itself.
Yeah, you'll be not living is the whole equation. But yeah, it's just finding enjoyment in that, because again, I hope to one day that I can do something great with it, because there's still so many people out there, beyond what are considered creators and whatnot. There are million. I mean, just in the English speaking factor, right? Because I don't know how to speak Swahili, so it's not gonna.
Oh, you don't?
No,
what the hell are you doing here, you amateur?
It's not going to work out well. God. It's not going to work out well. But the point of the matter is that there's enough English-speaking people out in the world that the opportunity to have to talk with any of these people, and again, I've talked to over 130 something of people, is so vast and so wide that for me to look at all these other creators, it's like you have all these followers and you won't even invite one of them on. I mean, understandable of the risks and stuff involved, but I've done that before, and I've been lucky, of course. But I've done it before. Where
your luck has come to an end tonight, sir.
If you fart in the face, that's on you.
No.
But the point of the matter is that I've had people on here who is like trying to draw water from stone. It's sort of like you get better at trying to find the gold nugget within the conversation of, okay, so what can we talk about for this? And you find the gold nugget and you just reel and reel and reel until that runs out, and then something else comes around. You're just kind of lighting up different lights and seeing which, like, oh, okay, so this is the green light. Do you like the green light? Not gonna work. Okay, do you like that red light over there? Okay, maybe we'll try. Well, how does that yellow light look?
Right.
How's fuchsia? How do you think about fuchsia?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things Gooch, the guy that runs Diabolical Souls, he spent like a year straight just like near every day interviewing people in order to get good at it, right? And the only way that you get good at it is practice. But the thing that makes him good is that he doesn't come in with what he wants to talk about, right? He comes in and just starts asking a couple of questions, and then let's go where it goes, right? And especially when you're, I mean, to be fair, I don't want to talk to everybody who can speak English, because a large majority of them are going to be stupid, and I don't want to deal with that, right? But if you're interesting or have a novel take on something, or you're just naturally gregarious or whatever, right? yeah, it's enjoyable to talk to those people. But the thing that you have to do is not come in with your agenda about what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
The idea is to get them to talk about something and then just let it flow from there.
Mm,
And I think there are a lot of creators that struggle with that because they're uncomfortable in the ambiguity
mm,
of where it could go.
yeah.
They're uncomfortable if they don't have a script or an outline or a plan.
Yeah.
I joke that most of those are from German heritage. Um, uh, the
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
no, we must have a plan. Yeah,
I see nothing. Yeah, yeah.
no, I cannot do it. No, I cannot speak. I have not had the cue card given to me. The but that just just finding out about people. It's a great way to discover new and interesting people to talk to.
Mm,
But the other thing is it provides them the ability to kind of get comfortable
mm,
and say the things that matter to them.
mm,
And I think the other thing is that it entertains the audience because when you see people just enjoying themselves shooting the shit, or talking, or discussing a topic or something like that, right?
yeah.
We get comfortable with that, and the audience is naturally repelled by people that are uncomfortable,
Mm,
because again we read humans really well, and if
mm,
they're uncomfortable it infects us. We
yeah.
become uncomfortable, right?
Mm.
And nobody, well, maybe a few people in the BDSM community, but most of us don't seek out being uncomfortable.
just the man is like, hold on, guys. Let's last a little longer.
That's right. Come on, just a little more discomfort, come on.
Just a little more.
I
Oh, I
haven't
like
used
to
my
feel it.
safe word yet, it's fine.
Oh yes, I want to feel it down in my bones. No,
Exactly.
I kind of get that too because I've had people like that where it's like, oh, I don't think I have anything interesting to say. I'm anxiety or whatever. I'm just like, look, the whole point is that the show rests on me. Can you answer? I mean, the easiest way I've made this point is, can you answer what the color of the sky is? Right. If I ask you what the color of the sky is, can you answer that? And if you could say yes, then pretty much the rest of the night is done and gone. There are going to be people who are going to be hard to have a conversation with, but that's where the opportunity lies
Yeah,
in
it's like,
that.
sir or madam, did you actually live your own life?
Well,
Were
yeah,
you
that's
there throughout your life to observe things or whatever? Then you at least have something to talk about. Let's go.
right. Well, and the thing of it is, I don't. I am sort of admonished a bit when people say, "Well, they do the whole I'm looking for someone interesting, whatever." That's not the point of why you have a conversation with someone. The point you have a conversation with someone is because they have of something interest within themselves that they don't believe is interesting enough, and that's where the change needs to come about. I mean, for you, I
Yeah,
can.
but usually you detect that, right? That because look, there are people that
Mm.
you meet and you're like, oh Jesus Christ, I don't want this guy to tell me a single story. I will put a gun in my mouth if he starts talking. Right? That's true. We
That's
have all met that guy, right?
yeah, I will agree with that. Yeah, I can.
Usually while standing in a line or getting set next to him for something, right? But
Yeah.
so those you avoid, right? But the people that have that little spark, right?
Mhm.
And you're generally, if you're good at reading people, you can detect it, but they may not believe it's interesting, or
Mhm.
they may undervalue their own experiences or observations or something like that. Those are the best ones to get, right? Because then you reveal to everyone, and they get good feedback from that, right? Because the chat tends to reward that.
Mhm.
They'll go follow them or just give them attaboys or whatever, right? And then
Yeah.
you've helped bring them out of their shell a bit.
Mm.
That's winning.
Yeah. Well, and another thing too is that even in doing this, it's not the most. I mean, I don't know how to market myself, so that might be an issue too. But it's not the most watched sort of thing because again, people doing the algorithm thing, right? Where people chase after the YouTube algorithm or what people could say, Joe Rogan and whatnot, but Joe Rogan has had so much history of acting and all that stuff. He has a bunch of things, but when you're talking about just having a conversational show like what I do, it's not the most widely regarded matter because people are more attracted to the what plays to the algorithm, clickbait, all this stuff. And I'm not saying everyone, right? That'd be a misnomer. It's a majority of people because at the end of the day, I mean, it is true that a clickbait title does more than saying, "Oh, look, it's the Emperor's New Groove, an evening with Emperor J." That sort of thing. Even though the Emperor's New Groove is kind of just a funny way of playing off a old movie, but I mean, the hope lies into that, again, lies in that timing and sort of luck sort of thing, where one person catches and like, what you're telling me, there's somebody out there who's talking to just about anyone, and I have that opportunity, and that's the door, right? That's the kicker for me, because people, regardless if they're creator or not, have an opportunity to pick up the microphone and say, "Wait, you think I have something interesting?" It's like, well, I mean, we won't know until we get there. But if you're willing to take the opportunity, if you're willing to take the first, that song from the old Raskin, put one foot in front of the other, right? The Santa Claus in town, or
Rankin
whatever
and
it was.
Bass.
Yeah, Rankin and Bass. The one where it's like Santa Claus
Yeah.
is coming to town or whatever. He says that song is putting one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door. That's basically what this is. It's putting one. You have to put trust in me, obviously, and that's in a difficult zone, right? But once you've placed all that worry on me, all that trust in me, I have to carry it the rest of the way. And then when something interesting like that gold nugget or whatever comes up, you can pick up on it, and it becomes a sort of song and dance sort of thing where we're just kind of dancing with each. Not that intimate. I mean, I like you, but not that much. So you kind of have this back and forth where it can go really well. And again, I've run across some people, not a lot, but a few, where it is like trying to draw water from stone.
Yeah.
But that's an opportunity again in itself, right? If you can create an opportunity out of the worst things, right? Well, not true worst things, but the worst things. You have the ability to change the negative into a positive, in which you didn't think there was an option for, right? And I think that's what I want to do with this thing, is because there are a lot of people out there, at least English speaking enough. They're not all creators. Some I've had people who aren't creators at all. Some people don't show their face. The ability is in taking up the opportunity, because you don't know don't know how it's gonna start, and you don't know where it's gonna go. But you take that first step, and then you put another step in front of it, and you keep going until you're out that door. That's the power of that opportunity, and that's why I enjoy doing this thing. Because I don't enjoy my full-time job as much as anyone does, but it pays my bills enough for that I can do this thing, which I get to meet people like you, Adam, Barb, UB
Well, 1 out
Legend.
of 3 ain't bad.
Well, I mean, I try so hard. I try so desperately hard. Um, but it's all in this conjunction of meeting different people. I'm not like face to face sort of meeting, because that usually some people do more. But we have this thing called technology, right? And this technology allows us to do what wasn't possible beforehand, right? Because you talk on the phone, you'd send a letter, you do this sort of thing. Now you can just take your phone and FaceTime somebody, and they're halfway across the world. This tool, which we can use in a bad, good way, as in any tool, I can now use this thing where I could talk to people halfway across. I could talk to people in the UK right now, Australia. I've had a few people on from Australia. I can have this opportunity. And if people are willing to take up that same opportunity, and it can go in the most amazing direction you never thought possible. But it's that first step, and that's in taking the opportunity. And that's a rough step to take for anyone. Right?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. One is the thing about technology is that it almost never provides some ability to do a thing that you could not have done before. What it does is it either amplifies an ability that's already existing, it augments it in a certain way, or it can automate it. You could have talked to people all over hell and creation. It just would have involved a lot of travel. You would have had a
and money,
limitation, right?
and
Yeah,
financials,
or time, right?
Yeah.
It costs one or the other. It eases it a bit, but you could be in a major metropolitan city and never talk to all the people there, and find out the interesting people that are there or not, right? But the thing about there's two sides to hosting a show. One is that you have to if you're going to do it long term, it either has to be paying a hell of a lot, or you have to enjoy it to a certain degree and treat
Yeah.
it as a hobby, right?
Mhm.
But the flip side is that you always have to keep in mind that you're not just there for yourself or your guests. You're there for the audience,
Mhm.
and that the job that you have is to, in some way, make it rewarding to the audience, whether that's through entertainment, whether that's through education, what have you,
Mhm.
or basic communication, social interaction,
Mhm.
whatever there is, right?
Right.
The audience has to be rewarded in a certain way, and so there's always a balancing act with that. I joke about people that say, well, if you do what you love, you never work a day, and it's not, you should always do what you love.
Mhm.
I then point out that most of us enjoy fucking. Now go be a prostitute.
Well, not.
Suddenly that thing you enjoyed isn't quite so enjoyable anymore, because you don't get to choose who and when and where this activity is occurring, right?
Mhm.
And in the same way that when you take on the burden of doing a show,
Mhm.
and the expectations of the audience and all that stuff, right? There are points, and elements of it that damned well aren't fun, right? Um, but you have to kind of weigh the overall, aspect of it, right? Like,
Mhm.
Adam and Babs always joke about, well, they'd be, if they weren't doing the show, they'd be doing the same thing on their couch.
Mhm.
Well, we do something similar, right? But the thing is, if you have a headache, then you don't have to sit on the couch and watch this movie, right? You can go to bed, do
Yeah.
something like that. When you set up a show, there are expectations, and you built an audience
Mhm.
that you were there to entertain. God knows we begged Adam to stop playing plenty of movies. He doesn't listen to us. But if you're just sitting on your couch, you're like, this movie is terrible. I've had enough of this. Let's get the hell off, right? So there's a kernel of the I enjoy doing this thing,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to go do it
Mhm.
more of a job kind of thing. But there's a lot of burdens that come with that qualitatively change what you're doing.
Right.
And I think as long as you can balance that, right, that you still get the enjoyment, even with the burdens that come with it, then you're in a
Right.
pretty good spot. If
Right.
if you're not, or if it's all about just you enjoying yourself,
Mhm.
the audience will pick up on the fact that you don't really care about them one way or the other, right? Or your guests or things like
Mhm.
that, right? So there's a certain genuineness, because it's really hard to fake, enjoying yourself or enjoying the person that you're talking with or things like that, right?
I'm sure you could ask some people who do that for a living on camera if they enjoy themselves or not, but we won't go down that route.
Yeah.
But no, I can understand. But at the end of the day, this is sort of I didn't, I've always tried to put it as, I started out just uh, doing recorded videos because you can record with StreamYards and do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing that, and then once I was able to live stream to both arenas, I did that, and I did the gaming and all that stuff, and that didn't work. And then once I started coming to this conversational stuff, it just clicked. And as an adult, you're kind of searching, right? You're searching for the thing you want to do for the rest of your life because you have family members that would say, "Oh, we were at a factory for a majority of our lives, and we had pension and all that." But that's not a thing anymore. Pensions and all that; those are a bygone product. But you only get so much time in this place, and to at least have a piece for yourself to enjoy and be able to share that with people. It doesn't matter whatever it is, the niche or whatever, is is a conjoining factor that I think a majority of people can kind of understand. Like, I'm not faking any of this, right? We were laughing a bit behind the camera, but at the end of the day, though, it's not something I can just walk away so easily from either, because there's something here that I feel is missing that I didn't see. Again, I didn't see a lot of creators doing it, so why not take it up? It's like Monopoly, right? You see that free parking, and everyone keeps passing it to go to the pass goes thing, right? Guaranteed 200, and then you're seeing like ones and fives and maybe a tenner, whatever, in that free parking pot. And just like, why is everyone passing this thing? Or pennies on the ground, right? If they're not like in the middle of the street. I mean,
Right.
if a penny's in the middle of the street, I hope to pray you don't go pick it up, because
I
then,
mean, you might get a good insurance and settlement out of it. Come on,
yeah, but you're
no
kind
risk it, no biscuit. Let's go.
yeah, you get you get kind of dumb at that point. But I mean, there are a lot of people who are willing to toss a penny to a side and just let it go, right? Because a penny is just a penny, it's just 1 cent. But they don't understand that a penny combined with other pennies can equate to $1, can equate $10 and more. And that also is how this, seeing this as well, because there's something there that I can't just walk away from, because now that I'm in it, it's like there's so much.
Well, you bring up a good point about time, and it is, money, whatever you have, right? It is not as valuable as time, because you are constantly burning it and can never refill and do that, right? But that's true both for yourself, for your audience, for all that, right? So they are willing to spend the most valuable resource they have, which is their time. You are spending time on this. It has, but do not spend time on things that do not reward you commensurate to what else you could be doing, right? So if this is really the thing you love to do, and you're having a ball doing it and all that, and you can't think of something else that you would do that would be a better reward of your time, then do this. If you are doing this because, I gotta over that, and I really enjoy it, and I'd rather be spending time with my kids, or this, that, whatever, go spend time with your kids, go do that other thing, right? That's the people get locked in on money, or get locked in on clout, or
views,
whatever, right?
All that stuff.
Time is the most important resource you have. You will never refill it. You have a finite amount. Spend it wisely.
Yeah, you can extend it a bit, but even then, you're extending an unknown quantity.
Well, you think you can, but the thing is, you don't know how much you have.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
You could be walking across the street, get hit by a bus.
Well, I mean, I hope that it's full of nuns. At least it'll be better.
Wearing latex.
Well, then maybe not. Sister Susan, how can you be dressed like that?
Maybe a riding crop or two. Look, I have small demands. And
look, Lord, if you're going to let me go out,
that's right. The latex nuns with the riding crops. I want you to note that riding crop thing. I'm just making sure we all know the...
Please let there be a Father Superior with at least one whipping crop, and the nuns,
exactly,
and the nuns with a few yards.
Yes, got a lot of latex. Let's go.
Oh, so much so that it squeaks whenever.
Yes, I want to hear the creaking, and that's what actually distracts me. It turns me to look at the bus. Oh shit! And
the last thing you see is what it says up top. It's like going to Las Vegas. Like, what the?
Oh my god!
The last thought is like, where are nuns going for Las Vegas? That's kind of the opposite of what you
God, I wish I was going with them. Oh, I am, as a hood ornament. Okay. Perhaps I shouldn't have got that penny out of the street.
Well, part of you is. The rest of you is going to be...
Well,
maybe the bus will make it, maybe the bus won't, but now you're traveling in style.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, no, I get all that, but I can't... It's one of those things is where you finally go through a bunch of stuff and you're tired of wandering and where to go next, and so you just kind of land on something like, I think this is it. I think this is the thing. We'll see if it pays off or not. But at the end of the day, I enjoy doing this. I enjoy getting to meet returning and new people. And there's always so much more to talk about. It's interesting when people think, oh well, one and done. That's it. It's like you don't understand the bibliography of human, conundrum and all that stuff, and how so much there's to talk about, and the perspectives and whatnot. And to think that your well would run dry after a certain period of time is a nuisance, because, well, you got the news, sure, but I mean, what you're doing, or what I'm doing, is not tied to the news. I'm not tied. I mean, I can talk about it, but I'm not tied to like the topics of the day. And that's another thing too, is like I'm free from that. I am free from just being tied to the topics of the day, where you see a lot of creators who are tied to the topics of the day, whether in politics, whether in gaming, whether in movies. They're mostly tied to the today thing. And I can go anywhere, right? I can do, I'm reading Rainbow. I can go twice as high, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and you're not dependent. The thing about I'm going to do news or whatever the hotness of the moment is. It goes stale as soon as you're done doing it.
Yeah.
The other thing is you are at the mercy of whatever the news cycle is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
I'd
yeah.
rather not be.
Yes.
And so I would much rather do things that are evergreen.
Mhm.
That somebody could see it today or could see it 3 years from now, and there's still a relevance to it.
Yeah.
And so that's, kind of sure, there's plenty of people, but, look, for those old enough to remember having VCRs and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I'm sure plenty of people recorded movies off of HBO,
Yeah. Yep.
recorded TV shows they weren't going to watch.
Or DVR.
Things that they didn't record, the nightly news.
That's
Because watching it the next day was like, I already know that shit. It was in the newspaper the next morning, and I'm done, and whatever. And by the way, there'll be another news broadcast tonight. If it was important enough to be on last night, it'll still be on tonight, or it was a thing that just came and went. Who cares?
Yeah, and it's very, and again, they're not all creators. They start it with the jumping off. That's why, I can go on to someone who does, a topic centered thing, and like ask me a question about it, I can answer to the best of what I know. But at the end of the day, though, those are so limiting. It's it's limiting in the factor that, okay, so we're talking about something. Yeah, I can do this, and we could be talking about what are some other creators talking about, but we're talking about something that 10,000 other creators are talking about right now. Oh, Ubisoft. Oh, that's great. Let's just talk about more about Ubisoft. And I'm not coming against them, because if that's the content they want to create or whatever, the money and stuff, that's fine. You do you. Don't listen to me for the content you want to create. I will just state for the fact that it doesn't make sense to me to be on that narrow path where it doesn't feel like a mod over there. I don't think so. I don't even think I know your name over on Rumble, so you'll have to pop over if you want to do that. I just can't be tied to that notion, and it's nothing against if I'm invited on someone's show. I have in the past. I'm not going to be like, oh well, I'm not going to be a part of it. I'll participate, but to the best of my ability. But it's a difficult manner of, this thing seems so constrained and so confined into talking about what is today. What happened yesterday to you, Adam? Well, when a cat jumped on you and scratched, and you just either cried in pain or whatever. What happened to a movie you saw a while back, and your thoughts on it, like 20 years ago, and maybe that's leading into something else that leads into something else that leads into something else. The point of the matter of regard is that I can and can't at the same time on this whole topic centered thing, because it is in itself limiting. It is very constrained. I once made a comparison, like, I'm sort of like Julie Andrews at the top of the hill in The Sound of Music. I'm out there in the fields and all that stuff, just singing away, and there's nothing going on. While on a topic centered thing, it's sort of like, okay, you go here, and I've people on who are more doing the prone thing of being structured, because again, you're right, they can't do it. That's more improv. Right,
Yeah.
the thing you're talking about is more improv. That's where, as a kid, I used to watch like Whose Line Is It Anyway? That whole show is improv to the hill. And then I watched one of the other favorite things I used to watch was the Craig Ferguson show. And if you've ever seen the Craig Ferguson show, a majority of what he did was off the cuff. Now, of course, they did some, stuff here and there, but majority of the
Yeah,
stuff
when you have
was
the
off.
actual star, yes, there's a reason they're on a PR tour. You have to ask them a few questions about their movie or whatever. But then you mix in stuff to, to make it more humanizing and all that. That's what the good hosts do. But I think oh my God, here's the hotness of the moment. I don't care. I just fuck off. If it happens to be like within my wheelhouse of experience or knowledge, where I can bring a particular take that just isn't, basic bitch reacting, then I'll do that. But otherwise, no, I don't want to waste my time doing this stuff, because trust me, as soon as we're done talking about it, that's it. And oh, by the way, there'll be 87 other shows talking about the exact same thing as we roll on down the line, right? So I would rather go in depth on a particular topic, and really get exhaustive discussing it, or talk about things that are far more interesting and don't expire as soon as the words come out of your mouth.
And it's not crapola, as one would say. I know that's what I mean. With the just going back to just talking the Craig Ferguson show. I mean, you'd have times where you have people on, and if it's a pretty woman, then that's another story.
Yeah.
But if you had an actor or whatever, and they were on to promote a book, a show, or whatever, they most likely would never get to it, because he'd be going on a whole different other thing of asking questions, or someone I once saw talk to, like, it's like a Rolodex thing, whatever. The point of the matter is, those that is what I'd rather have than say this, get, show host brings the person on, talks about the movie, and else, promote whatever. It's like we can go on a wonderland of wherever this thing could go. Obviously within the time limit that the show has, because whatever, all the promotions and all the advertisements, whatnot. But just imagine, Phil, you're starting at a point, and we did this earlier, right? We were starting at a point where you don't know where the direction is going, you don't know how it's going to start, but you hope at the end of it you had fun. And we've gone all over the place. We've gone all over where it doesn't make sense to just about anyone's like, why are they jumping from topic to topic when you don't realize that's the whole point of the show, is because the topics aren't jumped around on a force level. They're just like,
yeah, they just naturally flow from one to the other.
Yeah, it's like it's like that shiny object, like squirrel, that.
Yeah. I mean, for God's sakes, before the show started, we were talking about bowling alleys with glass pins, and then
bowling.
Like the whole structure that you have to set up to make that work with pillow balls and all that stuff, and then selling bullshit training and all that stuff. This is just it's okay. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's why I do it, and that's why I enjoy it too, because you never know about the person of where they'll accept it, and if people do take a little time, that's understandable, and that's why I do like I do have to. We will start closing down because I do have to start setting up for tomorrow, and of course I do have to get up in the morning because it's getting down to the negatives now where I'm at least for a little while. So
that gets negative-ish where I'm at right now too.
Oh God, I hate negative temperatures. It's
it'll be -6 tonight.
It's awful.
Yeah. Because it is still above 0, but we have a -12 wind chill going on.
Oh gosh, it's the worst when you hope and pray your car is still able to turn on those on that temperature. Otherwise, you
hear the starter and it goes, like, oh, come on, baby, come on, just roll over a little bit. I just need enough.
Well, and I filled up. So before we go, the one thing I did is I kind of they tell you to keep your tank at least above half. So that way it doesn't freeze, because it will freeze in negative temperatures.
Yep. Any water you have in the tank will definitely freeze.
Yep. So I made sure to kind of fill it up. It wasn't very much. It's like a quarter tank down. So I was just like, I better keep it up full because payday's coming soon. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I don't like icy roads. Snow's fine, but if it's on the roads and it's gonna make other people seem dumb on the road, it's going to be a bit difficult time, and I just want to get to work.
Again, weather is an amplifier as well. They were dumb to begin with. The weather just amplified it so that it was more obvious to everyone, and here we go.
Hey, look, I like to give some people the benefit of the doubt. Not everyone, but some people.
I'm calling out the dumb ones. The hell with that.
Now, I'm sure you've done some dumb. I'm sure you've done some dumb stuff too, so black heaters for the win. Well, yeah, I guess so. I don't know about that. But anyway, it is the top of the hour again, or power hour as I call it. So we're going to start winding down from there. So we'll start with the promoting stuff like last time, and then we'll kind of go into closing out, and we'll go from there. So go ahead, good sir, promote your wares, but don't keep being naked like you are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a damn thing to promote. However, I will mention Adam Gray's BRollStage, which I believe he's been putting the links into, and I don't have to sell that because that shit sells itself.
That's right.
And then Film Comics Explained, who was on earlier, Niet's channel on YouTube. Every Saturday, we cover movies, actually do live watches, and then discuss them as they were going on. Tend to get a bit autistic and critical on those. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays on Diabolical Souls Presents on YouTube. Gooch and the gang, we cover animation. We're covering Primal on Tuesdays, which is Gendy Tartakovsky's excellent animation that's on HBO. And then Thursdays we're covering Kaiju number 8, which I throw things at because of the anime tropes, but otherwise has a good story. And I'm hoping to get past the alleged humor and get to the good stuff.
Always getting to the good stuff. So yeah, check out those links Adam's been putting on both the Rumble and YouTube side. So go ahead and do those links. And also Jay's Twitter X is down below if you want to check him out. Although he does have a fondness for the Flash Gordon, it seems.
Emperor Ming the Merciless. Also now currently Emperor of the United States and Protector of Mexico, since I didn't realize previously that anybody could just amend the Constitution whenever they feel like it.
Flash! Oh!
He'll save every one of us.
And that was Queen singing it. So
yes, they did the whole soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. That's probably the only time they've ever done a theme song for a hero.
Yeah. Oh, no. So they did Highlander.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. Oh. Princes of the Universe.
Was. Kingdom, for goodness sake. All right. But from my end of things, whether you're on the Rumble side, whether on the YouTube side, if you would mind leaving a like, sharing the content. I feel like I'm going to do the Medea Hercules. No, that was Eddie Murphy Hercules.
Yeah. Hercules. Ooh, child, got some of that Niagara.
Woo. But anyway, also to leave a comment or like, anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated, because not only does it help in being seen more, like all creators want to be, right? Let's just be honest. But it also helps in having other people on as guests, like the Emperor himself, Adam Gray, Barbara Lawrence, UB Legend, and so many others.
Yeah, leave those likes and comments, or I will show up at your house naked as well.
And he will bring a boom box playing Flash Gordon.
That's right, and some hot hail just for you.
You will. It'll make it the most annoying day, or you just listen to a theme song over. Gets like, dear Lord, please let him go home. But yes, any help with the engagement factor on either end is much appreciated. Of course, I do have a link down below. Go and check it out. That's where all my other stuff is at. If you'd like to take up the opportunity yourself, as we were talking about earlier, opportunity, right? If you'd like to take up the opportunity yourself to come on the show, guess what? You can either leave a comment in either Rumble or YouTube, or you can go to that link and find my other spaces and find me there, because I have an email, I've used Discord, I've DM'd a Discord, DMing through Twitter X is mostly what I do my stuff through. But at the end of the day, it's all about taking that first step of taking up an opportunity that you may not know where it'll go, and you may not know how it'll start. But if you end up enjoying the ride, why not, right? But anyway, any help with engagement and checking the link down below, much appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. Get more Jay Goodwin. There you go. Look at that. Adam is throwing out the hot tamales like he's making them like Krispy Kreme donuts right there. Hey, Toasty. But anyway, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, I gotta remember how I did it. I am gonna have on the gentleman Iris Rhoda on. He is in the UK, so that's why it's at 5 p.m. So join us for that, and it should be a great time. I'm hoping it'll be a better day, at least weather-wise. But come and join us for that. It'll be an awesome time meeting another person from the UK, and I've met plenty of them. I've even had a few that were Germany, so that's good. Yes, I know how to do a little German.
Did they have a plan?
It was more like Trinke Wasser.
Ah.
Trinke Wasser, ja.
Ja, ja, ist gut.
Die ist gut. No, ist gut, yeah. Ist gut.
Ja,
Guten
ja.
Tag, yeah, yeah. But anyway, the last portion of my show is called Questions from a Hat. And now, of course, I bought a hat from Rumble and I put some questions into it. The point of the
Oh,
matter
shit.
is, yeah, you're going to be asked some tough ones. The point of the matter is that my guest, you, Emperor, get 2 freebies. However, unfortunately, I'm not monetized on YouTube. So it is what it is. But on Rumble, I'm monetized. So if you want another question, pull out of the hat, right? Like, I mean, if you really want another one. If you don't want another one, then just cover your ears and don't listen to the answers. They're not important. But if you want another question pulled out of the hat, guess what? You can give a Rumble rant. It can either be $1 or whatever. It doesn't matter the amount. As long as you give another one, you can have another question pulled out of the hat other than the 2. So first, we're going to start with the first one. And my eyes are closed. My hands are choosing. My hands are very grabby in here. So we'll see what kind of one I get. This one feels old. This one feels old. This one feels like some snot-nosed brat wrote it. Oh, I wrote them all. Never mind. All right, here we go. Here's the first one right here. Let's see what it says. Oh, this is an easy one. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed, but I am willing to learn.
So look, Ma, my left hand. We only right-handed.
Exactly. Come on.
Get back.
Are you some sort of communist up in here? My
Yeah,
son was actually left-handed, and then as he got older, became ambidextrous.
Oh, that's not bad. Ambidextrous means you can slap with both hands.
Well, I could slap with both hands.
But can you do it at the same time?
I mean, being ambidextrous means that you can touch yourself with the other hand with equal dexterity, and that's.
Oh, look! You've already gone too far enough by involving your son. Just listen.
Well,
this is
good
when.
News. Good news is he's 32, so I don't care.
Sometimes it's good to let the ball drop and roll away. I don't need to see what happens to that ball after it, just as long as it doesn't have my name on it and it destroys traffic. All right, come to the last one, unless someone gives a rant. Let's see. All right, let's see what this one says. Oh, here we go. Here's the yellow one. It's so pretty. This one says, what's the strangest talent you have that's completely useless?
Ooh. I mean, there's so many useless talents I have. I'm trying to think of the strangest. Let's see.
The first one that pops in your head.
I can do the weight loss ad before and after. So I can suck in my gut so much, that it looks very thin, which is clearly the after, and then I can stick out my gut very far, so that I look like I'm about 9 months pregnant. And so I do the before, after. It's all about diet.
Well, you know what? That's that is pretty.
That's pretty fucking useless. Yeah.
I just sit and think of like watching somebody's like, wow, they have a lot of time on their hands.
Oh, yes. This was before the internet. We had to find out some way to entertain ourselves. Also, these were some of the best ideas we had for picking up girls. Sadly, this didn't work out. Well, I guess it did because I got married and had kids.
Well, there you go. See that sometimes no pigs, please. You've been told no.
Oh, and I'm holding out for the VR experience.
Oh goodness, ball dropping like dick clapping.
And balls be dropping everywhere. They're just rolling around. Oh, well, we need to call a doctor about that.
Someone's got too many balls on the floor. All right, pick them up. But
a common line at Roman orgies.
Okay. Okay, everyone. That is the end of the show. Before we get too ballsy here, that is the end of the show. Of course, don't forget tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern with Yerzy, Rhoda. That'll be an interesting show. It'll be his first time on, so hopefully will join me in and bringing him on, and we'll see where that one goes. Just like today. And the Emperor said it'd be hard to talk to, but I think we did pretty well today so far. I think I'll give that a B minus.
I mean, R.I.P. your channel, and yeah, we went wherever the conversation led, right into the ditch. Usually is where that ended up.
Usually a ditch can be a river, though, so you never know. Depends on the time of day and how much it rained. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. Of course, how I end my stream is I use the same artist for all my stuff that I've like the intro video was done by the same artist. So the end outro video is done by One Day With You by Pogo. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night. And of course, Emperor, you're always welcome to come back on. Hopefully I provided enough entertainment that you weren't just tapping your toes and saying, what time is it now?
No, I was doing other things.
Yeah, he was.
Remember, I'm right-handed, so it's just keep that between ourselves.
Okay. anyway, don't forget to mute your mic. But One Day With You by Pogo. Have a wonderful rest of your night, guys, and see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern with Iris. Keep your stick on the ice, and I don't know how to end these things on a nice note. Maybe I should just end it like you say something, and then all of a sudden,
and keep curling for the stars.
Keep curling for the stars. I was more thinking it just like you have somebody who ends it and it just